Hi. You ever feel a moment before it happens? Like something's off, and your gut knows before your mind catches up? That was me, that Tuesday evening. Ordinary as any other. She was humming in the kitchen, some tune she always played when she was in a good mood. The kind of sound that used to make me feel safe. It was soft, familiar. I remember thinking I was lucky. Funny how you can feel close to someone, even when they've already started stepping away. We'd been married 6 years. Not perfect ones, but good enough to believe in. You don't hit the half-decade mark with someone unless you've patched a few holes, forgiven some things, stayed when maybe walking would have been easier. And I had stayed. I stayed through her work trips, her long hours, her forgetting anniversaries. I chalked it up to stress. I'd tell myself, she's driven. That's why I fell in love with her. She made me believe I was her rock, her only one. She said that often, "You're the only one who gets me." I held on to those words like they were sacred. That night, we were supposed to watch something she liked, some romantic drama on Netflix, her way of relaxing after meetings. I didn't mind. I'd usually fall asleep halfway through, but she'd curl into me like she used to back when we were dating. And for a few hours, we'd pretend everything was still simple. I was setting up the living room, dimmed the lights, grabbed the blanket she liked, the one with little yellow suns on it. She called it her cozy cape. God, how many times had I seen her wrapped in it? Face glowing from the screen light, legs tangled with mine. Then her phone rang. Not loud, just the gentle buzz and a sharp little chime. The kind that says, "This call matters." She was in the other room still, brushing her hair, I think. I glanced at the phone. It was face up on the armrest, screen lit. The name on the screen? Just C. No last name. No emoji. No hint. I shouldn't have cared. Married people should trust each other. But something about the way it buzzed again, insistent, made my stomach tighten. I called out, "Babe, your phone's ringing." Someone named C. She didn't answer right away. Then a pause. "Just let it go to voicemail," she said from the hallway. Her voice sounded different. Too fast. Too casual. But it didn't go to voicemail. It rang again. Same name. C. I stared at it for a second. Then it stopped and buzzed one more time. This time a FaceTime. That's when I picked it up. And I don't know why I did it. I wasn't trying to snoop. I think I expected to see a colleague, maybe a friend. Someone harmless. I had no script for anything else. I swiped up, and the screen flickered. A second later, a man's face filled it. Mid-30s, stubble, no shirt. Just a dimly lit room behind him and that easy, smug look of someone too comfortable. His eyes shifted, then landed on me. There was this brief moment. Recognition? Confusion? Then he said, like it was nothing, "Oh, you must be the husband." That's when everything inside me went quiet. I didn't speak. I didn't ask who he was. I didn't yell for her. I just ended the call. Put the phone down, slowly, like it was some fragile thing about to explode. And I sat there. I remember the ticking of the clock over the mantel. The way it echoed a little too loudly in the silence. I didn't need to ask her anything. I didn't wait for an explanation. I already had mine. She came into the room a few minutes later, towel in her hands. "What movie did you pick?" I looked up at her. Her smile was soft, familiar, maybe even real. And yet, I couldn't unsee his face. So I said, "I'm not really in the mood tonight." She paused, just for a second. "Oh, okay," she said, and turned away like nothing happened. That moment, that was the crack. The one that starts small but keeps splitting until the whole thing breaks apart. It wasn't the betrayal, not yet. It was the lie pretending to be truth. The quiet deceit. And I hadn't even told her what I saw. Not yet. But I would. Eventually. I didn't bring it up that night. That might sound strange, right? You'd think the second you see something like that, you explode. Demand answers. Raise hell. But I didn't. I couldn't. Instead, I watched her. That's the thing about silence. It gives people room to show you who they really are. I started listening more. Watching closer. And what I saw wasn't just betrayal. It was absence. A slow fading of everything we once were. She stopped kissing me in the morning. That was the first thing I noticed. Just a quick bye on her way out the door. No touch, no eye contact. Like I was furniture. Useful, but forgotten. Then there were the new clothes. More fitted. More curated. She used to dress like herself. Soft cardigans, jeans, messy buns. Lately it was pencil skirts, heels, polished nails. Like she was dressing for someone. Just not me. She still laughed at my jokes. But it felt rehearsed. Like a muscle memory she didn't bother to retrain. And every time her phone buzzed, she'd glance at it like it was a secret only she was in on. I remember one afternoon, about a week after the call, I got home early from work. The living room smelled like her perfume, stronger than usual. And there were 2 coffee mugs in the sink. One was hers. The other wasn't mine. She said it was a friend from her new project, someone dropping off files. I nodded. I smiled. I kissed her on the cheek. And I felt nothing. Because deep down, I was already building the ending. See, I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to make a scene. I wanted the truth to walk itself to the surface. So I started documenting. Quietly. Subtly. I took photos of strange charges on the card. Grabbed screenshots of late-night messages she left open by mistake. I installed a small camera, not hidden, not illegal. Just in the living room, facing the door. It was for safety, I told her. She nodded, barely listening. A few days later, I caught him on it. The same man. Walking through our front door like he belonged there. She let him in. No hesitation. She even laughed when he kissed her neck. That night, I watched the footage while she was upstairs taking a shower. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel heartbreak. I felt clarity. You know what's worse than someone hurting you? When they don't even try to hide it. She wasn't lying because she feared losing me. She was lying because she assumed I'd never leave. That I was so wrapped around her finger, I'd stay no matter what. She told me once, during an argument 2 years ago, you don't go anywhere. You always forgive. I remember that now. The smirk when she said it. So I made a plan. Not to trap her. Not to punish her. But to reclaim myself. My pride. My peace. I called a friend of mine, Mark. Lawyer. Sharp as hell. Trusted. I told him everything. Gave him the footage. The texts. The proof. We met twice that week. Off the books, quiet. He looked at me across his office desk, tapping a pen against his notepad. You sure you want to do this quietly? I nodded. I want her to walk into it thinking she's won. He leaned back, eyebrows raised. Then we do it clean. No drama. No warning. We filed the papers under seal. I had everything lined up, division of assets, relocation paperwork, even the logistics for a storage unit I'd already begun filling. I started packing the pieces of me she stopped noticing. Old records. My watch collection. My books. Photos of my parents. I kept them hidden in boxes at work. Little by little, I erased my presence from our home. And she never noticed. Because she stopped looking for me long ago. One night, we were watching a show, some thriller she liked. She was curled up beside me, her head on my shoulder. I remember thinking how strange it was that her body could be so close while her heart was somewhere else entirely. The episode ended, and she looked up at me, smiling like nothing had changed. You're quiet lately, she said. I paused, met her eyes. Just thinking, I replied. She kissed my cheek, almost out of habit. Don't think too much. You're my steady one. And I wanted to ask, if I'm your only one, why did he answer your phone? But I didn't. Not yet. Because I knew something she didn't. In 3 days, she'd be served. And this time, I'd be the one walking away. The morning it happened, I made her coffee. Just like I always did, 2 sugars, a splash of oat milk. She took it with a smile and a half-awake groan. She still wore that oversized sweatshirt with the faded college logo, hair in a bun, no makeup. The same way she looked the morning I proposed. Only now, I could barely look at her. She sat at the table scrolling her phone, legs tucked under her like a child. I watched her from the hallway. Not in anger, just in silence. I'd been preparing for this moment for weeks, and yet I felt still. Not nervous, not afraid, just still. She didn't notice when I left. I took nothing dramatic, just the bag I'd packed in advance, the folder of documents, the final draft of the letter I'd rewritten 5 times. I left it on the nightstand, under her favorite book. The door closed behind me with the softest click. That was a Wednesday. By Friday morning, she'd been served at work. She called me 11 times that day, left voicemails that started confused, then angry, then pleading. I didn't answer any of them, but I listened. Why are you doing this? She said in one. Can we just talk? Please? And then, her last message. I don't understand. I thought you were happy. That one stuck with me. Because I had been. For so long, I believed that what we had was rare. That love meant staying even when things got hard. That loyalty could save anything. But love without honesty is just hope dressed up in silence. And I'd worn that silence for too long. The weeks that followed were messy. Our mutual friends started reaching out. Some took her side, some didn't. Most were shocked. She told people I blindsided her, abandoned her without warning. She didn't mention the man who answered her phone. She didn't talk about the visits when I wasn't home. But the truth has a way of surfacing, especially when it's documented. When her lover's name showed up in the bank statements, the hotel receipts, the footage from the camera I legally installed in my own house, her story began to crumble. She tried to call again, this time crying. I made a mistake, she whispered. It didn't mean anything. I was lonely. You were always working. I almost believed her, because I remembered the quiet dinners. The way I kept saying, next month will be better. How I missed her birthday one year, because I was finalizing a deal I thought would change our lives. It did, in a way. It made her feel alone. And he filled the gap. That was my mistake. I was building a future while she was drifting from the present. But still, she chose deception over honesty. She could have told me she was unhappy. She could have asked me to fight for her. Instead, she let someone else answer her phone and acted like that wasn't the moment everything changed. I saw them once more, months later. A coffee shop downtown. He was with her. She didn't see me, but I watched them for a few seconds. She looked tired. Older somehow. Like something had drained out of her. And him? He was scrolling his phone while she stirred her drink, talking but not really being heard. She claimed I was her only one. But in that moment, I realized I never really was. And maybe that's the saddest part. Not that she cheated, not that she lied, but that the love I gave so fully was never returned with the same weight. I don't hate her. I'm not even angry anymore. I just miss the man I was before the call, before the quiet unraveling, before I had to learn that sometimes the person you trust most is just the best at pretending. Bye-bye.